Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So about a week ago, someone sent me a DM asking me, how do I get over my breakup? And I've actually had several messages asking similar questions. Now, I am not saying that I am an expert by any means. In fact, I'm kind of going through an emotional rough patch right now. But I did go from crying a lot, crying like 24/7 and being consumed by my breakup, to being what I am right now, which is mostly happy and excited about, different parts of my life. So I've come a long way. And so I just wanted to share with you the steps that I took to begin healing, and hopefully they might help you as well. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, everyone's breakup is different. And what worked for me and the advice I'm going to give you, you might not agree with, and it might not work for you, and that's okay. I'm also going to be mentioning some topics that are for more mature audiences, such as personal pleasure, so just keep that in mind while watching this video. And if you're here because one of your best friends is going through a breakup, please be patient with them. Even if they're not handling the breakup in the way that you think they should, everyone handles pain differently. So without further ado, here is how I got through my breakup. Step number 1. And this step may seem obvious to some people, but it can actually be a lot harder than you would think. 1, actually be broken up. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you break up, your body goes into a state of shock, and you actually start craving the love hormones you got from being with your ex. You might have heard that falling in love is akin to getting addicted to drugs, and there's a lot of truth in that, because you're constantly getting hits of dopamine and oxytocin from being with that person. So when you break up, you go through withdrawal. And just like a recovering drug addict, you need to avoid triggers that would lead to heartache. Well, you need to avoid triggers. In the drug addict's case, it would lead to them wanting to do more drugs. In your case, you need to avoid triggers that cause you to feel more heartache. Now, how do you avoid those triggers? Well, in my case, I got very lucky, because shortly after my breakup, I actually moved to Spain. I went to a whole different continent. And changing your environment works wonders. But I understand that moving to a new continent is not a viable option for a lot of people. So I would say just start with the small basics, right? Lock screen, backgrounds, change them. If you use Snapchat, go into the Snapchat settings and turn off the Snapchat memories that pop up every couple of months. You don't need to see that right now. So just go into the settings, pause the video. If you have Snapchat, go into your Snapchat settings and turn off the Snapchat memory options. Okay, so step 1, actually be broken up. Step number 2, learn about yourself. Yes, I moved locations just for this step because I need to show y'all something. Now, to begin to learn about yourself, you need to be able to be honest with yourself. And you need to be honest about the relationship and about the breakup. We tend to romanticize our past relationships, to put them on pedestals, and we conveniently forget that there was a reason the breakup happened. And if you are one of those people who are extremely hard on themselves, you might feel like the breakup was entirely your fault. And to that, I just want to say, it takes 2 to tango. Okay, you were not in that relationship by yourself. And again, there is a reason the breakup happened. So in order to learn about yourself, you first need to be honest with yourself. The next step requires a little bit more work, or at least it did for me. You need to start researching yourself, investigating yourself. Now, how can you do this? Well, first I would recommend starting a journal if you don't have one already. But I don't want you to fill this journal with thoughts of your ex and your past relationship. Instead, I want you to use the journal to talk about the present moment and the immediate future. Okay, so how you're feeling, how your body's feeling, and then the immediate future. So what do you want to get done today? Something that I used to do is I used to make to-do lists. I still do that. it's really helpful. It helps me visualize the day I want to have. But if I go back in my journal, see, here's the journal I started keeping, A Study of Self. If I go back to one of my earlier entries when I was just really struggling, I have the most basic to-do list. I have eat well, at least 3 meals, drink water, 3 bottles, and when I say 3 bottles, I'm talking about this water bottle, which I've had for about a year now. And then I also have go for a walk. Okay, so you can, if you're really struggling, just return to the basics. Eating well, a little bit of exercise, stay hydrated, get enough sleep. Focus on today and what you need to get done today. And again, you don't have to get a lot done, just the basics. Now, the next step I took to learn about myself is extremely important for anyone who has periods, for anyone who goes through a menstrual cycle, because you change. You change throughout your menstrual cycle. Your hormones change, your moods change. So I decided to chart my moods for the entire time I was in Spain. So I gave myself a number out of 10. At the beginning of the day, I would give myself a number in the middle of the day, give myself a number at the end of the day, give myself a number, and then take the average of those 3 numbers, and that was my mood for the day. And I started to see a pattern, like based on the days in my cycle, my moods would change. And so once you learn about your menstrual cycle and how that impacts your life, you have it feels like you have so much more control over, well, everything. So if you're watching this and you go through menstrual cycles, I would highly recommend learning how those cycles impact your day-to-day life. And it could be that they don't really impact your day-to-day life at all. Everyone's menstrual cycle is different, just like everyone's breakup is different. But in my case, it plays a very big role in my overall mood and well-being. So that's one way I was able to learn more about myself. And that kind of brings me to step 3. And this is where I'm going to talk about mature topics. Step 3, take control of your personal pleasure. I know this topic is taboo, especially for women. No one wants to talk about women's sexual pleasure, but I think it is incredibly important that you learn about yourself in that context. You need to find out what you like, and you need to find out how to give it to yourself. This is the time for just exploration. Explore yourself. And step number 4, focus on dreams that don't involve your ex. I know that after you break up, you're not just losing your ex, you're losing all the plans and all the visions of the future that you had in your head, and it can seem so overwhelming and so just crushing. Focus on dreams that don't involve your ex, okay? So for example, I have a dream of being a musician and playing music and playing little shows in coffee shops and in bars. And this year, I really started focusing on how I can make that dream a reality. And in fact, I just played my first open mic recently. Here's a little clip from my first open mic.
I remember our first night together, I saw golden cities in his eyes.
And I'm actually creating my own Spotify account soon, which is very exciting. So anyways, that is my personal dream, but find your own dream that doesn't involve your ex and focus on it. Maybe your dream was getting into shape, start going to the gym. Maybe your dream was learning another language. Start watching YouTube videos, movies in the language you want to learn. Whatever your dream is, now's the time to focus on it. Now I'm just going to end this video with the biggest single realization I had that has helped me. And the realization is this: you may never be able to stop loving that person or to forgive that person or forget that person. And that's okay. Just realize that you have so much more love to give and experience in this world. Let me say that one more time. You have so much more love to give and experience in this world. Okay? You're going to get through this. You're going to learn a lot about yourself through this process. It's gonna hurt. There's no way to stop the pain. But you will get through it, and again, you have so much love to give and experience. So just keep that in mind, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try to answer them as best I can. Again, I can only really talk about this topic from personal experience, so you might not like the answers I give, but I will try my best. Yeah, that's pretty much the video. Ooh, the sun's coming out. Oxycontin from that person. Oxytocin, oxytocin. Ugh, that word is so hard. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Oh, it's raining. It's raining. Oh, it's so nice. You can see the raindrops. What a main character moment.